Today on the Chokeslam Wrestling Report, we are going to be talking about Kenny Omega's comment about Rossi Ogawa, the founder of Stardom, okay, and what he said about Mr. Ogawa and what he's done in the background as far when it came to Stardom. So we're going to be talking about that, give you all the details of what he said, and we're going to be talking about that. Also, we're going to be talking about the AEW, how their ratings dropped this week, just like I predicted. And we're going to be talking a little bit of what's going to happen with this week's pay-per-view coming up on Sunday. And we're going to be talking about that and much more on the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. Let's get this.
Is the moment we've all been waiting for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome to another episode of the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. I am your host, the infamous Ultimate One from the Boogie Down Bronx, the Forbidden Podcast, the guy who tells it how it is. And a lot of people, as of late, have not been too happy with the stuff that I have posted online and my thoughts on certain things and whatnot, especially when I talk about WWE. Their feelings get hurt right away. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about what Kenny Omega spoke about Rossi Ogawa, who was the founder of Stardom. And of course, if you know the history of Mr. Rossi Ogawa, he was accused by the owner of Stardom, Bushigo, or whatever they do, the owners of New Japan, of him poaching talent. And in February, he got fired by Stardom. He then went and decided that he was going to create his own promotion and whatnot. And a lot of it, everybody was saying that the fact that Julia at that time was leaving the company. And Mr. Ogawa decided to do what he said he was going to do. He created a new promotion called Maxi Gold. Now, Rossi Ogawa, again, was was at WrestleMania. And I was wondering, why was he in WrestleMania? Is he doing some back deal with WWE, being that WWE's been trying to get into Japan for the longest? Now, a couple of years ago, they were trying to buy Noah. And they wanted to buy Noah, and then they were going to call it NXT Japan. But apparently that never happened. At that time, McMahon was still in power and whatnot. And, that never happened because apparently Noah still ended up staying around. Noah right now is working with New Japan Pro Wrestling. They got a couple of wrestlers who are going to be joining the Best of the Super Juniors coming up on May 11th, which is my birthday. So they still around. So that left pretty much WWE with nowhere to go as far when it came to a Japanese. All of a sudden now we're looking at this whole thing with Rossi Ogawa and this whole thing of him getting fired by Stardom. He went and created Maxi Gold. Now, it's funny that he created Maxi Gold, the new promotion, on the same week that we saw Julia in NXT sitting in the crowd. Okay. Now, people were telling me that Mr. Ogawa was set to do create his promotion, and that he was still going to have Julia as one of his main stars and whatnot. So, he, of course, a couple of the female wrestlers, big time wrestlers from Stardom left. Of course, Julia was one of them. Victoria Yuzuki, Nana Takahashi, and Sari left. And I think I forgot the other girl, the big name, who she was in the top 10 in the women's top 500 wrestlers or whatever the hell, 100 wrestler, whatever the case may be. And he brought them all in. So this article came in on Monday where they said Rossi Ogawa has high hopes for Maxi Gold. The new Joshi promotion, which has now on April 15, has many fans of the sport excited. The likes of Victoria Suzuki, Nane Takahashi, Julia, and Sari have been advertised for the promotion for the first event in May. So, while speaking in Tokyo Sports, for a new interview, Rossi Ogawa talked about his current standing with WWE and teased possibly bringing some of the company's performers to Maxi Gold. He said, WWE has been very good to me. I think they're buying into what I've been doing to raise Io, Kyrie, and Julia. Relationship with WWE, I think there will be some kind of announcement from the other side in the future. I like to invite players from the other side, WWE. I like to be able to do something like that. Ogawa even went to tease that Maxi Gold could become the feeder system for the WWE in the future. Maybe it will become a WWE ranch. Now, with that being said, that goes to show you already that this man probably already had a deal with WWE on the down low while he was still under contract with Stardom. And this is what was on one of the problems that was going on. You know what I'm saying? Because this man sounds like he's mad shady. And when I first heard about him, I'm like, okay, he's poaching talent. That's not cool, And then, then to hear that he was going to do a new promotion, that Julia was going to help him, his loyal wrestlers are going to join with him. But I said to myself, well, it looks like WWE is knocking on the door in Japan. And I put on one of my posts on Facebook, it won't be too long before this clown ends up selling his Maxi Gold to WWE, and WWE turns it to NXT Japan, which will put WWE steps in the back, actually in the backyard of New Japan Pro Wrestling and Noah. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't know how crazy they will be able to, surpass New Japan Pro Wrestling. I highly doubt that, but you never know. And the way that this industry has been going for the last 2 years, anything is possible. Okay. But someone else decided to put their 2 senses into this, and it was Kenny Omega. Now, when Kenny Omega was on his Twitch and whatnot, I believe was this week. I don't remember it was last night or the night before, but automatically wrestling trolls decided to go and try to cancel Kenny Omega because he said something about Rossi Ogawa and Maxi Gold, which to me goes to show that this damn IWC is so toxic. Okay. It's gotten to me to the point where I myself have decided that, look, I'm getting tired of even responding to some of this stupid posting and people's opinion on wrestling. Goes to show you 98% of the wrestling fans today, especially when they on social media, don't know shit. They talk out of their ass. Okay. And I'm gonna say this. It's like the same thing like when I saw SmackDown. Tama Tonga right now is the hottest heel right now. They came in out of someone from Japan and is now part of the bloodline. And everybody in the WWE fan bases, they got their ass tickled, like, oh my God, and most of them didn't even know what he did. The comments I say, oh, wasn't he in Bullet Club? You should know this if you know who Tama Tonga is. Okay. And I don't want to hear, oh, but we don't watch New Japan. So why are you excited about again? Because he joined Bloodline without knowing his full background. But anyway, so Kenny Omega commented on the Rossi Ogawa and Maxi Gold. Okay. Why I can't see this? I don't understand this. So, you gotta be kidding me. Kenny Omega comments on Rossi Ogawa and whatnot. This was very interesting when I read this. So, and this came out last night, late and whatnot. Rossi Ogawa officially announced his new promotion, Maxi Gold, like I said earlier, which will hold its first event on May 20th. So we got a date. Rossi is the founder of Stardom. I keep calling him Rossi. It's Rossi. It's the founder of Stardom, but was fired in February with accusation of trying to poach talent. Okay. Speaking on his Twitch stream, Omega commented on Rossi's his thought about it. He said, from someone who lived it, breathed, who has very close friend in the industry. I don't necessarily mean the wrestling industry. I mean the industry, the government issue press, the information they know. I'm just going to leave it at that. I will say, don't be so quick to listen to praise for the individual, because someday, I'm not sure when it will be, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday people will know the truth. What they do with the truth, I don't know. Will they share it? Maybe. A lot of the higher ups in Japan, they know exactly what he said. Later in the stream, Omega addressed his comment being taken out of context. So basically, whoever saw this went on Twitter and they took it out of context, like every freaking wrestling fan today. They read between the lines and don't use their common sense, and they brain dead, because that's what they are, brain dead. When you go online, then you misconstrue someone's word and whatnot and make it your own. He said, my comment on Rossi or whatever, there's nothing to say. I just think eventually I don't care about Rossi being an e-drone. That's no big deal. He's done. That's not even the tip. Just you freaking wait. If you are still interested in wrestling and you're listening to the stories and reading stuff, when it finally comes out, I will say one thing. There are a lot of people who refuse to work for him for the very same reason. Some of those people are in WWE. Some are in AEW. They have a very good reason. It's not just, I decided to wake up and not like this guy. If you want to know along what lines they thread amongst, the dude just flat out said, we're looking for girls ages 13 to 21. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Let's say Omega is saying the truth. And most likely, I feel that he's saying the truth. He's looking for girls ages 13 to 21. Now, me saying this, the first thing people are going to say, did Omega wrestle a 9-year-old in a wrestling ring? I don't know. I'm sure he did, because I remember seeing that. But that was all probably for clout. Okay. And when I'm looking here, he says that Rossi was looking for girls ages 13 to 21. They don't have a boyfriend and aren't married. So we already know, he said, he puts underage girls in a very revealing swimsuit calendars and books. I wish that's all he did. Let's put it that way. I don't know. I don't want to say anything. I'm not going on record to say anything. I don't want lawyers barking at my door. That's why I don't want to say anything. I don't have any sort of video evidence. I just have the good word of people who are very close. I'm outside of it. If those people, okay, so if those people, I just lost, oh my God. So if those people, I'm sorry, I'm losing. If those people feel like I'm commenting or saying something, whatever. For now, I'll say the people going to Maxi Gold, good luck. I hope you have a great time. I hope it works out for you. For me, I will be very hesitant. I could be very hesitant. That's all. He concluded saying, my only comment, I'm with Asuka. That's it. We are bros. Always have been. She has her reason, and they're probably the same one as mine. Okay. Asuka previously stated that Stardom was created to defeat her. So Ogawa was present during the WrestleMania 40 weekend, attending the Hall of Fame ceremony and weekend events. Now, I just read you, okay, 2 articles that came from Fightful Select. you know. And the fact that Kenny Omega says something and you have these dumb clowns in the IWC going out of their way to try to cancel Kenny Omega because he said something about Rossi Ogawa, okay? And what he's doing behind the scenes, so you're going to go and try to cancel him? You're a bunch of clowns, because if anything, he's trying to make sure that no one gets caught in this whole thing. And in case you're dumbasses out there who was trying to cancel him, don't remember the speak out movement and how many wrestlers are not wrestling anymore because of that shit. This is a perfect example. And if WWE is smart and read this article, they will try to keep as far away as Rossi Ogawa, because it's bad enough. There's a black cloud hanging over WWE today because of Vince McMahon. Okay. With the possibility of Triple H being subpoenaed because of this case. Okay. Because the minute I mentioned that Triple H getting subpoenaed, people get butthurt real quick. Okay. They get scared and whatnot. Okay. So if WWE smart, and Aaron Emanuel is a very smart man, I'm sure that people gotten back to him to talk about this. And I'm sure that he may not want to have to deal with this man, Rossi Ogawa. Okay. Because it's not good for business for WWE. Because even let's say WWE does a working relationship with him, and it turns out that it's true what Kenny Omega is talking about, that's not going to look good for WWE, because they're going to be guilty by association. Okay. Because they were dealing with that promotion. So I'm not saying they shouldn't go after any promotion in New Japan. They want to work with, either in Japan or whatever. That's fine. But do your background checkup, because Omega right now just exposed this man, and this man was fired from Stardom because he was poaching talent. Then now it's turning out that he tries to get females 13 to 21, not married, no boyfriend. Why is that? And then you're putting young girls in swimsuits and in calendars. That's something to think about. So anyway, it's a lot of things that I felt uncomfortable reading this, because it's just like this type of stuff with, people doing stuff with with younger women and all that stuff. It's just disgusting, especially when it comes to wrestling. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about AEW and the rating drop that happened this week. I mean, to me, I already knew this rating drop was going to happen, because number one, everything was because of the tape or the video last week. That's why they got 819,000 and whatnot. And this week they only got 752. But it's funny how, I'm looking up the AEW Dynasty card because I want to talk about that. It's funny how these wrestling fans, and especially podcasters, they go out of their way and, start talking about, oh, this is the fourth low, the second lowest show in AEW's this year, and the ratings this and the ratings that. It's funny because some podcasts go and they start talking about ratings don't matter when it comes to WWE, or why are you talking about the ratings and this and this and that. It's funny. It matters when they want it to matter. Okay. I already knew that they were not going to do good. I knew they were going to go back down to the 752, 760s. And it's because the show, the build-up for Dynasty, it has not been good. The biggest problem this year, the worst show that happened this year was the one they got 819,000 with the video footage of the All In, which was the worst horrible situation. So this week's AEW, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it wasn't that bad with the sad fact that they still pushing the Chris Jericho and Huck. Chris Jericho should just retire, to be honest, because he's back again trying to be a heel. I mean, he's into this 1 minute I'm a heel, 1 minute I'm a fan favorite, 1 minute I'm a heel. The fact that Taz was in the ring and he got pushed, he got punked by Chris Jericho. Meanwhile, Hook punked, Chris Jericho. Now, my question is, this whole thing with Chris Jericho and Hook, anybody care about that? No one cares. And it looks like Hook's contract is coming to an end. And I think Taz wants him to go to WWE. That was the rumor going around. You know what I'm saying? The Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly thing, I mean, I saw that coming a mile away. It's nothing to worry about. I mean, I'm looking at the card here and whatnot. So the 0 Hour, which it's crazy because the 0 Hour have the 6-man tag team elimination, actually the unification match. So I want to talk about that real quick. Trent Barrett against Matt Sydal. No one gives a rat's ass about that. Orange Cassidy and Shibata against Shea Taylor, Lee Moriarty. Didn't we see that? And I think it was in wasn't it we saw this a couple of weeks in I believe in Dynamite. While we seen this again in the pre-show. Then this is the crazy part. Jay White joined AEW last year. And he was in the main show and he was like the main top guy, whatever. All of a sudden, the last 2 pay-per-views, they've been in, pre-shows, 0 Hour pre-show. The AEW World's Trios Championship versus the Ring of Honor World 6-Man Championship, winner takes all trios match, is on the pre-show, the 0 Hour, the 15 to 20 minutes before the show starts. Why are we having Jay White and the Bullet Club Gold, being on the pre-show? And the fact that if we see Anthony Bowens and Billy Gunn and Max Caster, the Acclaim, beat Bullet Club Gold for these 6-man tag belts and unify them, I'm going to be highly pissed off because I'm tired of the Acclaim. I'm tired of them. They're not entertaining anymore. They was cool when they had the belts. Now they still walking around with these belts. I mean, Tony Khan is making these 6-man trios title worthless. But how you put them in the 0 Hour? They're part of they're part of your damn show. I don't understand it. Then we're gonna have another trios match to start off the show, supposedly. We got Adam Copeland, Eddie Kingston, and Mark Briscoe against House of Black. If I see House of Black losing again, another match against these guys, that's a sign right there. They're gonna be leaving. They're gonna be leaving, and I don't know where they're going to. Then we have the Hook versus Chris Jericho FTW Championship for the FTW Rules match. Please tell me we're not gonna see Chris Jericho beating Hook for the FTW belt. And like I said, if that happens, we're probably gonna be seeing Hook leaving to WWE. Then we have the AEW TBS Championship House Rules match. Julia Hart versus Willow Nightingale with Stokely Hathaway. Where does this lead to? Are we going to see Willow beat Julia Hart for the TBS belt? And then we're going to see this Mercedes Moné against Willow Nightingale and have this, again, another match between them because of what happened last year in the New Japan Women's Strong tournament where, Mercedes Moné broke her ankle and she hasn't been able to be clear yet. She's clear for Double or Nothing. So we're going to see that. The Roderick Strong versus Kyle O'Reilly. I don't see O'Reilly beating Roderick Strong because I feel like the Kingdom is going to interfere in that match. The AEW Continental Championship match, because Okada versus Pac. I don't see Pac beating Okada. I'm going to see interference in this. Okada probably ends up retaining the belt. The Tony Storm versus Thunder Rosa match. We'll probably see Thunder Rosa get the belt back. And then the reason I say that is because Tony Storm was supposed to wrestle Thunder Rosa about 2 years ago, I think it was. And Thunder Rosa refused, according to Dirt Sheet, that to lose to Thunder Rosa, but then claimed that she had a back problem and she was out for almost a year. So maybe she'll return the favor And Tony Storm ends up losing the belt to Thunder Rosa, and we'll see Deonna Purrazzo versus Thunder Rosa, which it looks like that's going to be cool. The AEW World Tag Team Champion Tournament, the final ladder match. I mean, we know that the Young Bucks are going to win the belt for the third time. It's happening. I mean, I don't see anything else going on that. And then we'll have the Bryan Danielson versus Will Ospreay. I expect that to be a banger. That's supposed to be the match of the night, and whatnot. And then we'll have the world title between Samoa Joe and Swerve Strickland. Will Swerve Strickland become the new world champion and the first AEW Black World Champion? So you have it right there. You have all the card. Now, do I feel that this card is strong? On paper, it doesn't look strong at all. They're starting off, first of all, if it's the way I just said it, or the way the card set up, a 6-man, unification trios match between the Bullet Club and Acclaim, and then you're going to open a pay-per-view with another 6-man. What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Do we really need to have House of Black feuding with Mark Briscoe and Eddie Kingston? You know what I'm saying? You got the TBS champion, the Ring of Honor World Champion, and Eddie Kingston against House of Black. When we know that House of Black has been losing a lot of matches, they're not doing anything with them. It's sad. So it's just a matter of time before they're out of AEW. It's going to happen. It's bound to happen. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's crazy. I mean, the word around right now, the rumor is that I saw this week was that Motor City Machine Guns are on the verge of finalizing the AEW contract. So they're coming into AEW. We may see the Young Bucks versus the Motor City Machine Gun. That should be entertaining. But again, the way Tony Khan has been booking his shows and his matches, it has not been good at all. Especially with this Don Callis thing, when you got Will Ospreay is the fan favorite, but he's part of the Don Callis family. Again, what are we doing? What are we doing? And then you got Kyle Fletcher with, Don Callis. Unless you're gonna do where, you're gonna have Takeshita and Powerhouse Hall beat the crap out of Will Ospreay, and then Kyle Fletcher comes in to help, and then they bring another member to the Don Callis, and they beat up Ospreay and Fletcher, and then you got Mark Davis, and then you got the, matter of fact, you got the United Empire back in AEW. Then that's a possibility. See, I'm a better booker than probably the Tony Khan because I'm already thinking ahead. I would have been changing everything. The interesting part also is the Trent Beretta training between Orange Cassidy, and now Orange Cassidy doesn't have any friends at all. So best friends, are they done? We don't know, but that's it for this week, guys. I think it's not a lot of stuff going on. I mean, again, just saw a lot of stupid shit this week with the social media. It was sad to see Rhea Ripley give up her belt again. I feel like Liv Morgan, if she was really hurt by Liv Morgan, and they were playing it off that she probably did get injured at WrestleMania. If Liv Morgan did injure Rhea Ripley, that girl, I don't know. I don't like her wrestling. I don't like nothing about Liv Morgan. She's just another pretty face. You know what I'm saying? But WWE's fine because even though you lose Rhea Ripley, now you could build on, that girl that y'all signed in September. And one night she's doing 3-minute squash matches, the same shit she was doing in AEW. You know who I'm talking about, Jade Cargill. Maybe they could push her now and push her to the top. And maybe you could have maybe her win the, the Battle Royal, because WWE's too lazy to do a tournament. So they're putting in a Battle Royal. So we'll see what happens. But that is it for me this week, guys. Again, thank you for checking out this video. Again, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell for new uploads. Hit that thumbs up. That will help greatly. If you guys want to follow me on social media, you can check my Facebook. You can check X. You can check on Instagram. So you can find me in all those 3 places. Also check out my TikTok, the Chokeslam Wrestling, and you can check out my little videos that I have there and whatnot. But trust me, I was planning to come in here and just rant and go off on the stupid stuff I see on social media and the conversations I have with a lot of people, especially when I talked about the 2 set of belts again by WWE. I like the ones in, I think it was SmackDown. They look like the old school 1980s version, but again, what are we doing? Why don't we just merge the damn belts and just do it like the way it was back in the days? But of course, you gotta, please the Fox and USA. It's just dumb. I can't. I don't know what to say. But that is it for me, guys. So, guys, thank you very much for coming through and checking out my video. Let me know what you think about this video. Leave your comments in the bottom. Check my podcast store, tcwr.veryinkpressive.com. That's tcwr.veryinkpressive.com. And again, let me know what you think about this video. And I will see you guys next week.